Good evening, Tillamook Cheesemaker basketball fans. It's warm-up time brought to you by the Community College in Tillamook Bay. Tillamook Cheesemakers have traveled on an odd Saturday game over through Salem heading on up 22 to Stayton to play the Stayton Eagles. Stayton is 0-2. They've lost to Central, which has moved up a classification about 4 years ago, and they lost to Banks. Banks is a high-quality program. There's going to be lots of teams that lose to Banks. Tillamook is 2-0 after having two nice opening wins to start the season. And the Cheesemakers and the Stayton Eagles are finishing up their warm-ups as it's a late-arriving crowd. It looks a little bit like Los Angeles, only, well, different, but Stayton, Los Angeles, not really necessarily the same. But the Tillamook Cheesemakers, nonetheless, have made the trip over the Sourgrass and through Salem, and we will have starting lineups and more after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Welcome back to Stayton High School as the Tillamook Cheesemakers and the Stayton Eagles are about 5.5 minutes away from tipping it up and getting started with the third game of the season. The JV squad traveled a little shorthanded. Tyson Wilkes sick and did not play, along with there was someone else sitting there over there on the bench that had street clothes on. Nope, it slipped my mind. And also, the varsity team is going to be playing a little shorthanded. Ramon Flores is getting close, but he's not quite there yet. He's got to build that weak leg up a little bit bigger before he's going to be cleared to play basketball. And then Chase Wagner was fighting his illness last week, and it finally caught up to him. He tried to tough it through, and he got himself whacked pretty good as he did not make the trip over and has been dealing with some respiratory distress as the Cheesemakers are going to be playing without Flores and without Wagner. And it's going to be an interesting game because Stayton comes in big. Stayton comes in with a 6'7" and a 6'8" post as both juniors, as they are going to want to play triangle basketball. That's what I heard at shoot-around. Tillamook Cheesemakers are going to want to play a little more frenetic, a little more up and down. And to do that shorthanded without two of your starters, very athletic, moving kids, it's going to be difficult for the Cheesemakers to compete against the size of the Stayton Eagles, unless, of course, the Cheesemakers have the opportunity to establish their will and the game is played the way Tillamook wants it to be played, which is helter-skelter, fast-paced, and let's see how the Bigs manage having to chase us all around the court, as the Cheesemakers had a really nice win coming in to open the season, and then traveled over to North Marion and won there as well. It was Gladstone, and won there. And Gladstone's always a tough place to play. And kids played hard, and they played well, and were able to walk away with the win. And so the 2-0 Tillamook Cheesemakers are going to face the 0-2 Stayton Eagles. But again, as I said before the first break, it's kind of hard to tell how good Stayton is because they've lost to Central, which is a 5A school that produces pretty good basketball players, as well as the Banks Braves. And Banks is right now is as good as they're going to find in the Coapa League, and the Coapa League is playing the best ball in the state. At least they were last year, and I don't see that changing at all this year, as Stayton is going to cut their teeth on the second Coapa League team of the season as the Cheesemakers are getting ready. We'll have starting lineups and more after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Welcome back to Stayton High School. This is Nathan Radcliffe. Randy Shield is off on a week-long workshop conference to Nashville, Tennessee, I do believe. I think they're coming back in tonight, but the time frame didn't work out. And Bruce Rhodes is in Seattle, and so he's not doing it either. So we've dipped pretty low into the the repertoire, as Dan Seaholm is going to be joining me for insight and analysis, as only a 24-year-old Tillamook, 23-year-old Tillamook graduate can. And then I also had to bring my son Tristan along in order to keep some stats. So if the points are off, man, don't blame me. Don't blame Dan. You can put it on the 14-year-old, as he's responsible for keeping the stats. We'll see how it goes. You know, the JV squad is never good, but the JVB is even worse, as the JV2 squad is going to be calling tonight's game. Here comes Dan. It's always good to see. Looks like he has a win underneath his belt. I'm not so certain. We'll talk here at some moment. But the Tillamook Cheesemakers are going to face the Stayton Eagles. Stayton is going to start Logan Chase, who is a 5'9" sophomore, and he is going to be probably their point guard. Jordan Butler is a 6'1" junior. He's going to be joined in a wing with Jared Mitchell, who's also a sophomore, 5'11" sophomore, as they start two sophomores and a junior out on the edges. Inside, Riley Nickel is a 6'7" junior, and Caleb Anundi is a 6'8" junior. So if you look at it, they're starting three juniors and two sophomores. That's not a bad lineup if you're looking towards the future of Stayton Eagles basketball. And you look down the roster, and they have 5 seniors, and none of them are starting. And that's an interesting position. As long as those seniors are really good leaders and your juniors are actually the better basketball players, that's pretty much where you want to be, because you want senior leadership, and then you need athletes. Now, you can get away with that. Oh, we're going to be singing our national anthem early, so we're going to send it away for, let's go with a 1-minute break. Let's go with a 1-minute break, and we'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from our sponsors. Excellent singing of the national anthem by a member of the high school student body, it looks like to me, as Stayton has sort of flipped the script on me, caught me by surprise. I hope the radio is able to pick that up, because that was a pretty tough grab, where suddenly you're expecting the person running the radio to grab a 60-second commercial out of nowhere and throw it in there. So good job by the radio station picking it up. But as I said, the Stayton Eagles are going to start two sophomores and three juniors, and they're going to be big, 6'7", 6'8" juniors, and we'll see what the Tillamook Cheesemakers can do with that. Starting for the Tillamook Cheesemakers, they're going to be your normal routine for the beginning of the year, except Chase Wagner's not going to be in. Anthony Taylor is going to be a senior, 6'1" wing. Ian Collette's going to be the point guard, arguably the best point guard you're going to see this year as a 5'9" senior. Nathan Abbott is going to be the other wing at a 5'8" senior. And the two posts are going to be Gabe Lockenmeyer, a 6-foot senior. Now, that's 6 foot, right? He's given up 7 inches. And then Landon Warner, a 5'9" junior, as Tillamook then gets smaller in the post. And so you've got a 5'9" junior going against 6'7" or 6'8", and that is going to be an interesting lesson in managing the game situation. The situation that you can't work with, Dan, is it's hard to rebound. You can do a lot of things defensively in terms of team, but trying to rebound when you're 5'9" against 6'7" is pretty tough.
Got to be in position.
Got to be in position. So what it does is it comes down to fundamentals, right? And how the game is played, right? Because Stayton's going to want to play slow triangle. Tillamook, on the other hand, not so much, right?
Get these big guys tired early.
Right, make them chase. You know, if you can't catch them, then You can't defend him. But running 2 men short out of your starting rotation is not going to help that at all.
Hurting missing Wagner tonight.
Well, and he's been struggling with some respiratory stuff, so he's got to get that taken care of. And I hope he's sitting at the radio listening right now. And Chase, get better. Get back to class. Engineering needs you, and I guess the basketball team too, right now?
For sure.
There we go. So, Dan, you played a little JV2 basketball next door. How did that go for you?
Lost a tough one. Came down to fouls, 1-and-1. Played much better than we have in the last 2 games.
Oh, that's good
so
to
that's
see.
Positive.
That is. That's absolutely positive. You like to see that. Tillamook Cheesemakers. Anthony Taylor is going to be jumping it up against the larger of the 2 posts. I'm going to have to take a look here. That would be Anundi. Anundi registers at a 6'8 junior. Ball's in the air. Anthony gets the tip, and actually the ball goes to Landon, and it's Ian Collette who's got the first possession. And Stayton's going to open man. Abbott's going to pull for 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net. As the Tillamook Cheesemakers come out and say, here we go.
That's his shot right there.
There it is. Net gets wrapped up in the rim. Stops the game, allows Tillamook to get some press on. As Tillamook extends out, Collette chasing it at half court. Anundi over, around the horn to Butler. Butler looks to the high post. High post back outside to Butler. Butler's going to eye from 3. He's going to miss it. Offensive rebound goes out of bounds.
There's your rebound right there.
Right, goes off Stayton. So Tillamook Cheesemakers is going to have the opportunity to bring it up, and Stayton provides a little press. It's not serious. They just want to harass. Butler wants to harass Collette and let somebody else initiate the offense, which isn't bad. Anthony Taylor being guarded by the 6'8 post. Back to door cut. Abbott, nothing there. Warner for 3, nothing but the bottom of the net again as Landon Warner pulls the second 3, 6-0. 7 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first quarter as the Cheesemakers come out early on fire from 3, as that's the great equalizer. Lob to the rim, collected by Anundi. Anundi pivots out to Butler. Butler reverses to Klassen. Klassen's going to look back inside to Anundi. Anundi goes with his left hand from about 8 and puts it in. Now, of course he's left-handed, right?
Yeah. I think we can give up that fading 1-foot leaner.
Yeah, he was sort of tipping away from the action. But Anundi had the ability to do it. High pick set by Lockenmeyer. It's going to be Collette dribbling. Kicked out to Abbott. Abbott for the third 3 of the night. This one's a miss. Rebound is collected by Klassen. Klassen's going to advance the ball to Anundi. Anundi runs the court. Foul by Taylor. As Anundi got to his left hand. Ran the court well, right?
Big guys that can run, pretty tough to guard.
Big guy's left-handed. So that doesn't count as a shot attempt. He was fouled, so he's going to be shooting free throws instead. So Anundi is going to go for the line for 2. He's the more active of the 2. He's more active than Nickel. 6'7" junior Nickel. Both of them are very light in stature. They're not big. Anundi bounces the first free throw off the back rim and down.
Good-looking form.
You can say a left-handed person has good form. That always bothers me, but that's okay. It's always weird watching the lefty shoot. Good, clean release. He missed that one. Abbott gets the free throw. Excuse me, the rebound off the free throw. And it's Collette bring the ball up. Cheesemakers are up 6-3. Collette deals behind his back. He's going to stop at the 17-foot mark. To Taylor at the left wing into the high post. It's going to be Lockenmeyer. Goes hard against Anundi. Shots missed. Anundi pulls down the rebound. And it's out to Klassen. Klassen to Mitchell. Throws the ball off Abbott. Abbott's able to collect it. Flips the ball out ahead to Collette. Collette lays the ball in for 2. 8-3. Tillamook Cheesemakers are looking pretty feisty right now, aren't they, Dan?
They're getting after it. That's the way they play. They play hard.
Now the question is, can they play hard for 4 quarters, right, with a short bench? And that's a different issue. Ball goes into Riley. Riley takes 1 bounce. Nickel. His first name is Riley. Nickel takes 1 bounce, gets the ball up, off the glass and down. 8-5. 5.5 minutes left. Collette pulls for 3. Nothing but the bottom of the net. And boy, Stayton's got some long nets, don't they?
Hey, it just means we're shooting good.
We're just shooting. You're shooting good when they get stuck. It's not long nets. It's good shooting. 11-5. Tillamook Cheesemakers come out and hit, 3 out of their first 4 threes. Turnover inside. It goes through Anthony's feet and out of bounds. Oh, boy. Tillamook did a good job of collapsing on the middle of their 2-3 zone, trying to take away the mid-post. And Anthony got caught by surprise, went between his legs and out of bounds. Stayton's going to trigger it. It's going to be high-low action. This can be there all night long. Anundi from Nickel.
We got to get some more guard pressure and make those passes harder to get in.
Collette shakes, drives, 17. Boom. 2 more. Wraps the net. Boy, I tell you, I would want to press if I was Tillamook, because every time the play has to be reset because the ball gets wrapped, right?
You got time to set it up.
Collette made the 2. 17-13 steal Lockenmeyer. Lockenmeyer's going to go with his left hand. Oh, boy. Looked like Clausen had a pretty good strip right there. And the official that called it was sealed. Couldn't see it. Lockenmeyer went up with his left hand. Clausen tried to take the ball away from him. Foul is called. And we've got the first subs for the Tillamook Cheesemakers. Logan Dorland checking in for Lockenmeyer, and Josh Rojo coming in for Abbott. As that's pretty much going to be the rotation right there. Tillamook's only 7 deep. Stayton hasn't flinched yet. They haven't subbed in. So we'll see. Tillamook Cheesemakers can inbound the ball underneath their own basket, up 13-7. 5 minutes left, and the ball goes out to Landon Warner. Landon puts the ball on the ground, hand out to Collette. Colette's looking at Taylor. Taylor's on the right-hand side, 30 feet from the basket. Dorland steps in. Anthony declines the entry pass over to Collette. Colette's going to drive, looking for the kick to Rojo. Rojo baseline for 3. Oh, Rojo hit again. Oh, Tillamook Cheesemakers, 16 points, 4:37 left, and Tillamook comes out red hot. But you live by the 3.
You die by the 3.
There it is. High post. Ball's going to be tipped away, but it's going to stay Stayton. You like to see hands-on passes if you're the Cheesemakers.
Yeah, we got to keep pressure on the guard. Make that entry pass hard.
Clausen checks out, and Ben Rash checks in. Oh, and they're going to reverse the call. That's interesting. There wasn't any coaches squawking or anything. They just put their heads together. There's 3 officials. And I don't know, is that a preseason issue or is that going to be all year, Dan?
With what?
With the 3 officials.
I think it's up to the school or the league.
Oh, okay.
Because we didn't have 3 at Gladstone.
Okay. And Collette backdoor pass. Boy, that was a thin slice of heaven, but fortunately Dorland bailed him out, but the ball's loose. It's going to be Nickel, puts the ball on the ground to Anundi. Anundi fades away from about 12 feet.
A tough shot to guard.
Oh, it is. If you're 6'7" and you're going to fade from 12, that's going to be tough. Landon to Taylor. Taylor top of the key. Tries to do a little shake, but it's not there. Rojo closely guarded by Rash. To Collette. He's going to pull for 3. He's going to miss. Ball's going to be rebounded by Anundi. And Anundi settles down, gives it to Rash, and Rash is going to meet Collette at half court. Collette was pretty lucky. He didn't pick up a foul. The ball goes to Nickel. Back out to Clausen to Anundi. Anundi's free throw line. Oh, and that's going to be a travel. As Anundi handed the ball off to Rash, and Rash drug his feet as he didn't really know exactly what he was going to do. 16-9. Tillamook Cheesemakers have a really nice start right here. Now, granted, they have hit 4 threes, I do believe. Collette, Abbott, Collette for 2, Abbott for 1, and Rojo for 1.
Warner for 1, too.
Oh,
Lando.
maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Tillamook Cheesemakers to Lockenmeyer. Lockenmeyer's going to bring the ball up against Anundi. He's going to go with his left hand to Abbott. Abbott's going to pull for 3. It's going to be back rim off. More rebound ripped down by Jerry Daniels. Head to Rash. As Stayton in their all-whites going to face the Tillamook 2-3 defense, trying to mitigate some of the size issue. And the bull in the china shop is in as the shot goes up from 3. He'll take that, but Rash gets the backside offensive rebound. That's a killer. Speed dribble is going to be called traveling as Jerry Daniels, he replaces Nickel, I do believe.
Getting on a press here.
No, they're going with all their bigs. Both posts are in. Collette, backdoor pass to Gabe. Gabe's out of control, and foul is called as Jerry Daniels picked up the charge. There wasn't much right there on that backdoor cut. Ian tried to thread it through a needle and put Gabe in a pretty tight spot.
Great backside defense.
Yep, slid over. Jerry did and took the charge.
That'll make your coach really happy.
You coaches do like that backside work, don't they?
Yep.
Tillamook Cheesemakers 16-9 up over the Stayton Eagles. 2:50 left in the first quarter. And Tillamook has shot well from 3, but we'll see if they can maintain it. As around the horn it goes, the ball's going to get pulled. No, it's a lob for a dunk on the backside. It looked like it was a pretty bad shot coming from Jordan Butler, but really it was a nice pass as Butler threw it to the backside rim, and Anundi went up and flushed it. 2-hand dunk as 16-11.
Tillamook out of rotation on their defense.
Size does that to you. Collette turns the ball over. Jerry has it being chased by Rojo. Rojo steals it back to Lockenmeyer. Lockenmeyer's going to look to settle down. No, he's going to look to go. He gets caught on his knee. He's in a dogfight now. He is going to be able to control the backdoor pass to Rojo for the lay-in, as Josh did a great job of staying active, and Gabe fortunately was able to keep his wits about him. 18-11.
That was a tough finish over the big guy.
Over the big guy, that's exactly right. And Rojo was able to play the defense to not allow Stayton the opportunity, but that time Rash gets 3 for himself. 14-18. Cheesemakers jumped out front. Oh, that's only a 2, so that might be 13. Oh, Josh missed that one badly. Backside rebound to Collette. Collette to Dorland. Dorland is blocked, but Gabe has it. Gabe goes up with it, and it's going to be foul called on Anundi, as Anundi came down over the top of Lockenmeyer. And it's pretty ferocious action out there, isn't it?
I think that's in our favor.
Yeah, I think it is too. As Stayton's bigs have been in the game for the entire quarter. 18-13. Lockenmeyer is going to be shooting 2. Back iron bounced all the way out to him, 14 feet out. As subs come in, Dorland checks out along with Rojo. Werner and Taylor come in. 13-18, a minute 31 left in the first quarter. Cheesemakers are up 5 and feeling pretty good about themselves, I would say. Lockenmeyer, missed that one good enough and went in. Back iron, front iron, left iron, right iron, bottom of the iron, fell through. Up 6, minute 25. 2-3 zone again, just trying desperately to keep Stayton out of the perimeter, but on the back door, cut. High-low pass again. Anundi dumps the ball into Schoenborn, and Schoenborn gets the 2, but Collette gets the 2 right back on the drive. 21-15, Tillamook Cheesemakers are still up 6.
Didn't take him long to get from the other basket to the other basket.
No, I was looking down trying to figure out what the name on 32 was, and I looked up, and Collette was shooting reverse lay-in. He might be quick. Have you noticed that?
He's dang quick.
Dang quick. There we go.
I don't guard him anymore.
Let's just put it that way. Short corner for the Eagles. Baseline to Schoenborn. Schoenborn leaves it short. Oh, over the back. You got to call that. Lockenmeyer blocked out Anundi, but no call as Taylor gets the miss. 47 seconds left. It's going to be Warner. Warner pushing to Abbott. Abbott's going to go baseline. He's going to be up against 6'7". Launches the ball up. They're going to get Anundi for a second foul, or nope. That one's not going to be on Anundi. That's going to be on Nickel. As Abbott did a really nice job of up faking and getting, I'm going to say that was Ryan Burton to stand up on his toes. He went baseline and then just got smothered by 6'7". But Abbott's a pretty good athlete. Unfortunately, he left the free throw short.
No fear.
They've only made 1 out of their 3 free throws, as Abbott's going to get his 4th. 21-15. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up 6, 40 seconds left, and Abbott's going to rim that one out as Jerry gets the rebound out to Rash.
So you're telling me our three-point percentage is better than our free throw percentage?
Yes.
Right.
Our free throw percentage is 25%. I know that because my son's doing the stats, and I can remember 1 out of 4, actually.
And you're a math teacher.
Well, that doesn't mean I can count.
Ask me, I won't be able to tell you.
Stayton, 30 seconds left, down 6. This is not exactly what they thought was going to do. Abbott again with the kick. Top of the 2-3, you've got Collette and Abbott, where it's about as quick as you're going to find a 2-3, but also about the shortest you're going to find in a 2-3. Both of them going 5'7", 5'8". And then in the middle is going to be Lockenmeyer, Warner, and Taylor. They're going to be down low as Nickel goes baseline. He's seeing what's there. He pulls the ball out, throws it baseline, and Anthony is the one that gets a hand on the ball. 17.5 seconds left. Cheesemaker still up 6. They're a different team with Anundi on the bench, aren't they?
They're a little smaller.
There we go. Anthony gets the tip to Collette. Collette's going to 13.5 seconds left, keeps his dribble alive. He's got baseline. He's put a little shovel pass to Lockenmeyer. Out to Abbott. Abbott for 3. Off the back iron. No good. Rebound goes to Nickel. Nickel holds the ball. Gets it up. 2 seconds left from 25 feet off the glass and iron. No good. As the Tillamook Cheesemakers win the first quarter, 21-16 of some serious, high-flying, sharp-shooting basketball.
That's right.
We'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from our sponsors. Back to Stayton High School. Tillamook Cheesemakers and the Stayton Eagles. I've got one frame in the book. 21-16. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up. Colette had 7 in that quarter. A couple twos and a 3. As a good scoring all the way around. And Stayton is going to stay with the Noondy on the bench for right now. Pulls for 3. Back iron. No good. Backside rebound. Offensive rebound to Rash. Rash. California stop. Arizona hop. And it's going to be traveling. As shooting the ball was Hendricks from the top of the key. Backside rebound went to Schoenborn. And full court press by Stayton. Stayton's going to chase Colette. Colette's going to turn the ball over. He's going to dive. The ball's loose on the ground. Landon Warner has a piece of it, and Colette gets it back. Just like that. No turnover. There was no turnover. Abbott, far baseline for 3. He's going to miss it. Bringing the ball down for Stayton is Jerry Daniels. And Anthony Taylor was willing to stick his hands in there.
That was Gabe Lockenmeyer.
Oh, was that Lockenmeyer?
Yep. Jump ball.
They got the jump ball? No, I think they called a foul.
Must have.
Yep, must have got wrist on it. So it's going to be Stayton, 21-16. Down 5 are the Stayton Eagles. Rash to Hendricks. Hendricks back to Rash. Rash to Hendricks, playing catch. Hendricks is going to shoot from 3.
They're overloading us, and we're not adjusting to it.
And they're going to get a foul called on Stayton on the shot. Foul's going to be on Jerry Daniels, as Jerry likes to mix it up. They have him listed at 6'1". If he's 6'1", I'm about 6'4", and he's got to be at 210. He's pretty well put together. High screen by Lockenmeyer. Warner on the dribble to Colette. 30 feet from the hoop, straight away. Again, high pick by Colette. Colette stops and lets Jerry fly by. Colette from 18, off balance, front iron and through, as he kind of had his feet crossed up there a little bit, but was able to pull it out. Stayton, Hendricks is looking for the high post and it's going to go off his foot. It's going to be Tillamook Cheesemaker ball. Oh, no. Don't believe that to be true, as he gets some help. It was Nickel.
Suspect.
The suspect got chased by Lockenmeyer off the free throw line, and I thought Nickel, size 22 foot, made contact with it. And they
reversed it again.
And they reversed it again, as the Stayton coach hasn't jumped out of his skin yet. Jerry Daniel checks out, and the Noondy checks back in, as Daniel gave him a nice little shift right there. Total change of pace when Daniels checks in.
That might be the benefit to 3 refs there.
That's true. You get better angles, don't you? Colette's going to bring the ball across midcourt. High screen set, but denied. Backdoor cut by Abbott. Abbott flips it up with some crazy reverse English right there and pulls it through.
I love the back door.
Yes, they do. Tillamook Cheesemakers are doing a really nice job on the back door. They're going to give up a deep 3 from the baseline by Hendricks. Abbott gets inside position, gets the defensive rebound, and Tillamook's going to live with that. As Taylor pushes out of the backcourt, he's going to attack Nichols. It's going to be Abbott, pulls for 3, short iron, no good. Follow your shot, Nathan. Rebound to Hendricks, to Rash. Rash, they got the 6'7" post outside. That's Nichols. They're looking high-low right there. That's going to be a Noondy from 17. Pulls the string on that a little bit, and Taylor does a great job ripping down the rebound. One dribble to Abbott. Abbott's looking to set to Anthony, and he's going to initiate the offense. It's going to be Colette. That's going to be the offense. Quick trigger. Miss. Pulled down by Schoenborn for Stayton. A little quick, I believe, on that shot.
Yeah.
Yep. You live by the... Anyway, we'll see. High-low. This time it's a Noondy on the low post. He's got Gabe pinned. The ball's going to get launched. The Noondy's going to get the offensive rebound. He's pushed. His hips have been lost, and he's going to miss the shot, and the ball's going to go off Nickel out of bounds. As high-low, typically it's a Noondy triggering the ball in from the high post, but this time he was on the low block. Oh, you think they're going to throw a lob here by any chance? Nope. Yeah, they are. Break it. And it is. It's to a Noondy after the three-point line. 2 dribbles, pulls out inside position. Oh, knocked away by Anthony Taylor. The Schoenborn never got off the ground. As Lockenmeyer flips it out to Taylor. Taylor from 17. Boom. There it is.
He needs to be shooting more.
27-16. Stayton has not scored here in the second quarter, as Tillamook has bothered them a little bit, I do believe. Going to be playing catch up top. There's Anundi from 17, flipped the ball out for 3. And this time, Jordan Butler making the 3 for Stayton. 27-19.
They're doing us a favor with 15 out as a wing.
Yes, if Anundi's on the wing, Tillamook is going to like that advantage. Oh, yep, Ian got a running start on that one. As Anthony liked taking a couple dribbles and making the post move, and Collette went to fill where Taylor came from, and Ian got a little excited. Forgot to put the ball down. Abbott checks in. Anthony checks out. 4.5 minutes left. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up 8. The biggest lead was 11, 27-16. The last 3 by Stayton cut it down to an 8-point lead. They're going to skip all the way across the 2-3. Back up on top into Anundi. Anundi got hacked by Josh. Man, I could hear it from here. Anundi wants the basketball because he's got Lockenmeyer pinned. He goes up with his left hand. Lockenmeyer claims he's got his hands up, but it wasn't the hands. I believe it was the hip.
We can't have him get in foul trouble early.
Well, he's got 3 right now, so my guess he's coming out.
Yep. Hopefully they called it on Rojo, though.
We'll see, and they did. They
Good.
called it on Rojo for the slap. And Anundi is going to go to the free throw line. Rattles it out. That's kind of how he shot a second one last time in the first quarter, and that one bounced around so many times it went in. So Anundi, 27-19, is going to try to close the gap to 7. Ball's up, it's in the air, and it's off the bottom of the net. So there it is. Anundi scores the free throw. Lead is 7. 4 minutes left as the Tillamook Cheesemakers have to be pleased with the way the game has gone. It's going to be Collette, stops between his legs, keeps his dribble alive, picked up. Rojo steps all the way out to half court. Abbott looks from 18. He's going to pull the string. 2. As he does a really nice job. He's really quick. He's explosive. He takes that dribble and then just gets right in the air. Quick shot. Not a load on it. And he's able to go.
And he doesn't really look where he's going.
Yeah, because he doesn't really know where he's going. It's Anundi baseline against Warner. Another dunk for Anundi as he goes up and he flushes it. Caught the ball about 12 feet out on the left baseline. 1 dribble, and he was at the rim. Rojo takes his 1 dribble. Abbott's going to get in, get it high off the glass, and misses it as the size bothered him. And Abbott was unable to extend the lead out to 9 as it stays 7 to Schoenbrodt. Schoenbrodt's going to get mugged on the backside. Holy crow. Rojo just crawled over the top of 32, jumped in front of him, knocked the ball out of bounds. Play on.
Play on.
Dorland and Taylor check in. And we'll see. This is going to be another challenge. This is another lob pass. It was missed. Nichols scoops the loose ball up and puts it in. He says, look, Ma, look what I found. Found the ball and stuck it in the hoop. The foul's going to be called. It's going to be end 1 as Nichols going to shoot a free throw.
Backside rebound.
29-24. Cheesemakers are up 5. It could be closed within 4 if Nichols makes this free throw. Ball's up. Off back iron. Anthony Skies for the rebound. Man, he's doing a good job rebounding the basketball. Collette, 3-point line, extended. Taylor to Rojo, swing it around the horn.
Stayton's in his zone.
Yep, Stayton steps into his zone. Anthony's going to go for 3, and Anthony says, I like zone. 32-23. 32-24. Why was that 24? I don't have that as 24, but that's okay. Anundi sweeps in, grabs the rebound. The offensive rebound, as offensive rebounds, again, continue to be a little troublesome, as predicted. Going to be Collette facing Nichols. Nichols to Josh, to Abbott. Back iron, no good. Rebound by Clausen to Schoenbrodt. Schoenbrodt is looking ahead to Butler, and Butler pulls the ball out. Butler, Anundi, that's Nichols at the high post.
Tillamook can live with that shot. That's great offense.
That is. Nichols for 3. Are you kidding me? The big guy stepping all the way outside. 32-29 the score. The board has it. I got it as 28, but that doesn't make any difference. I'm trying to do too many things right now.
Stepped out of their zone after the three-pointer.
Abbott missed a little bunny floater. Nichols gets the rebound. Clausen gets the push. They're going to throw it ahead to Anundi. It's going to be Butler for three, missed, but Anundi gets the offensive rebound, poked away by Collette, picked up by Rojo. Anthony's got the ball across half court, baseline to Collette. Collette's going to have the ball in the air. It's on line, and he's going to get 3 free throws as Butler closed out too hard, knocked him down, and Collette's going to get 3 frees for that one. Minute and a half left, 32-29. Tillamook Cheesemakers lead, which was, I think, at 111 before the 3 was hit, because I had it at 27-16, and then Stayton has put a little run on. And, we got a little trouble with subs because there's 3 free throws, and Lord knows we can't bring them in after only 1. Right? That would be cheating or something. So Ian made the first free throw. He's going to make the second free throw. Gabe checks in. Rojo checks out. Daniels checks in. Jerry Daniels is a 6'1 bruiser. Schoenbrod steps out. So they're going to go 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'8", with muscular power on the baseline. Back iron miss by Collette, but Collette gets his own offensive rebound. Lockemeyer, Abbott, jump stop, flip the ball up. No, how did that not go in? Oh, ball's going to be off. Oh, he corrected himself again. As Collette got the offensive rebound. He's going to pull from 17, Collette is, and he's going to take that one down too. 36-29 as the Tillamook Cheesemakers did a nice job.
He's hit rim yet.
No. Well, he had a free throw that hit rim. That's about it. Abbott being guarding Nickel. 2-3. Oh, ball's going to be picked up by Collette. Collette does a quick peek. He wants to see where Nickel is. Nickel goes after him. Oh, takes the contact. Misses the lay-in. Collette did a really nice job of taking the contact. I wish he would have pulled up and shot it off the glass from about 6 feet.
He just hangs in the air, though.
Yep.
He had time to decide what he wanted to do while he was in the air.
Tillamook's going to inbound the ball underneath their own basket. Ball is going to be inbounded to Taylor. We'll see what it is. Oh, and they're going to say the ball went off Taylor as Gabe tried to sneak ball in through a pretty small window. Under a minute left, 55 seconds, 36-29. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up by 7.
Taylor was hesitant to grab that.
Yeah, he didn't know. He thought it was going to go out of bounds quicker, and then it just sort of sat on the baseline. He didn't know what to do with it. Anundi, high-low, ball stolen by Taylor. That was a horrible high-low pass to Lockemeyer. Something's going to happen here. Oh, no. Gabe makes a good choice. Finds Collette. Collette shoots from 20. Oh, he found a little bit of iron there, didn't he?
Rule 1, never leave the ball.
Never leave the ball. 39-29. Tillamook Cheesemakers have extended to 10. Oh, they're going to get another steal. Anthony behind his back couldn't quite save the ball. So it's going to go to Anundi. Anundi is going to go inside again to Daniel, but Gabe is there to knock it away. Talk about some spunky defense.
Oh, man. Great defense by Gabe and Dorland there.
I thought Anthony was going to have a steal, but he needed about another 6 inches of real estate because he couldn't get the ball in deep into Tillamook. It's going to be to Anundi. Anundi, turn around. He's going to leave it short. Dorland's got to get the ball up. There it is. Nice job. 12 seconds left. Ian has the ball coming across. Going to run tap.
Probably take the last shot here.
He'll take it. It's going to be Collette going against Anundi with English. Gets it in, 41-29, and that's going to be the way the half ends, as Ian had great English on that basketball, didn't he?
I don't know how he did that.
I have no idea.
I don't think Stayton's used to this.
No, they're not. They're getting out quick right now, and they're getting outworked as the Cheesemakers are up plus 12, 29-41, and this is after, remember, Tillamook, their lead got snuck down to 3, right?
I believe it did.
And Tillamook did a great job of outscoring, what was that, 8? Well, that's plus 9, wasn't it? Because it's 12.
Yeah,
right?
they adjusted.
Yep, so they went plus 9 in the final minutes of the second quarter, and the Cheesemakers are up 13, 42-29. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Welcome back. Tillamook Cheesemakers and Stayton Eagles are playing basketball. This is Nathan Radcliffe along with Dan Seaholm, and I appreciate Tristan doing the stats. He's got pretty good scores. We'll see if they all add up at the end of the night. But I know the first time I kept stats, winning close. And notice, Dan, I didn't put any paper in front of you.
That's right. You didn't do that to a rookie.
You can't. Well, oh, heck yeah, we can. One of my favorite rookie stories of all time was a social studies teacher we had here, 4 or 5 years ago, and Jimmy Doyle. And Jimmy Doyle could talk like no man in the history of talking. And so I was like, Jimmy and we can totally do a football game. And so we went, and he and I did the game. I don't know, Randy was off in like Alaska salmon fishing or something like that. And, boy, he got lost. Jimmy got lost in football stats. Football stats are hard to keep. And he didn't have much to say because he was trying madly not to drown in ink and paper. And I looked over him at one point, and he had his headphones off his head, and he was wearing them like a necklace. And I realized I was going to get no help from him whatsoever. And then the second game that we did the next weekend, he didn't even put the headphones on. He's like, hey, Nate, I don't think I need headphones for this game. And I was like, Jimmy, a football broadcast is 3 hours long, and in that there's probably 2 hours and 15 minutes of talking.
Yeah.
And you're going to make me do that on a Friday night? And I know you can fill a room with words, my brother. Nothing. So,
get out of him. Huh?
So, Dan, what do you see here in terms of how Tillamook and Stayton have played basketball? Because they play very different styles.
They do. It's almost opposite of Tillamook. They want to get it down low to their post, where we have our guards that are very quick, very hard to guard, and we're up and down, 4 out, back doors, cut.
You know what Chase would do with this group? Oh, he'd run circles around those 4 posts, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and, we saw last year when Tillamook beat Banks, Chase got into their big guy, and he was ineffective, and that's what he does.
Just bothers them. Which of these is harder to, if you're one of these programs, and you need to prep for the other in a super meaningful game, right? This is preseason. You're not going to go through. You're not going to create a whole brand new scheme just for a preseason game. But say this is a league game, right? This is an important league game. Which of these two programs has the better opportunity to prepare in practice for the other style?
I think it's much harder to prepare for Tillamook because they are 4 out, 1 in. Collette obviously is dangerous, but Collette can get other players to score.
Right, and so it's the speed that you cannot simulate in practice. If you need to simulate size, you grab one of us coaches and give it the broom.
Yep.
Right, and suddenly we're 6'7" also.
Mm-hmm. And you can say, deny the ball into the post. Okay, deny pressure. Right. With Tillamook, you have to give up probably guarding one of our guards who can shoot.
Right.
With Collette being an issue.
Right, because what Collette needs in order for him to be super successful is secondary scores.
Yep.
Right, and so he needs Abbott, he needs Taylor, he needs Wagner, and we haven't even talked about what Ramon can do.
Exactly. In
this group, right?
And it's a league game. They're going to see film. And they're going to go, okay, let's stop Anthony and Collette and pick our battles. But then you're going to have Wagner step out and hit threes. Right. You're going to have Rojo come in off the bench and hit a 3. Landon Warner was hot last game. He hit 3 threes.
Oh, right? Did he really? In Gladstone?
In Gladstone. It's coming from everywhere. So.
Right. And so, Stayton's got the work cut out for him because they can play better offensively. They look at those 29 points and they're like, yeah, we can do better than that, right? But the question is that Tillamook started hot, but they cooled off, and I'm going to do a quick 3-point percentage here once we go away for our next break. And my guess is the percentage is going to be, 30%, I bet. Abbott missed a bunch of threes there, and so Tillamook could have shot the ball better, as the Cheesemakers have to be pleased with a plus 13 lead at halftime. As the Tillamook Cheesemakers and the Stayton Eagles are at halftime, 42-29. The Cheesemakers are up. We'll be back with stats after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Stayton High School. Nathan Radcliffe along with Dan Seaholm and Tristan Radcliffe, the broadcast crew. As the Cheesemakers, I was off by 50%. Well, 15%, but 15% in comparison to 30% is a 50%. Now, see, I'm just getting crazy there.
Lost me.
40 doesn't take much. 46%. Tillamook Cheesemakers shot from the three-point line, 7 for 15. As Ian Collette was the high scorer. As Collette ends up with 17 points. He made 2 out of his 3 free throws, 2 out of his 4 three-pointers, and 5 out of his 6 twos. As that's a pretty good line when you can get 17 like that. Landon has 3. Nathan Abbott has 7. Rojo has 5. Taylor has 5. Those are 5 nice points from Rojo, aren't they?
Very balanced, and that's like I said. That's why it's tough to prepare for us.
Yeah, Lockenmeyer has 1, as Tillamook did a really nice job scoring. For Stayton, Butler has 2, and Rush has 3. Butler made 1 out of 4 three-pointers. Rash had 1 out of 2. Hendricks was 0 for 3. Burton missed his 1, and Nickel made his 1. And so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 three-pointers for a team that's 6'7", 6'8". That's probably not very disciplined.
No.
Basketball.
Yeah, you got to go back. Feed the big man.
That's right. Nickel has 9, and Anundi ended up with 12. 2 out of 4 from the free throw line, and 5 for 8, from the field. And so Anundi with 12 and Nickel with 9. They're going to be their 2 leading scorers. And my guess is anybody who scores outside those 2 is 3 points.
Yeah.
That's just bonus.
You got to, stop your 2 studs, and if they can respond, you got to tip the cap.
I know. And Tillamook has done a great job. You worry, like, are they able to rebound? And the answer is yes. They have not gotten just absolutely crushed on the glass, and part of that is because Anundi would prefer to play at about the 12-foot mark.
Yeah, and he's given up a rebound when he fades away.
Right, he's taken himself out.
He's getting an entry pass from his twin 6'7" partner.
Right.
That's 2 of their best rebounders out of the
mix, right? And so the Tillamook Cheesemakers, 42-29, they're up 13 to start the third quarter. 42-29. All right. There we go. Tillamook Cheesemakers ended up scoring 18 in the second quarter, 21 in the first quarter. Outscored Stayton 18-13 in the second quarter, 21-16 in the first quarter. So it's been minus Stayton both times. Abbott pulls for 3 and misses.
Good-looking shot, wide open, probably what they drew up.
Exactly what they wanted to see. And Nickel flips the ball up, misses it. Anthony fights Anundi for the rebound as Nickel sort of got himself off balance, and he's either going to travel or shoot. And so he chose to shoot rather than to travel. Taylor, Abbott again is going to pull for 3, back iron, no good. As they've had probably about 3 passes on their 2 possessions, and that's not necessarily going to work. As Clausen takes it hard to the rim, and the first point of the quarter go to Stayton. As Butler just put his head down and drove.
It's like they're sitting in the zone again, big guy in the middle.
Yep. Landon thinks about shooting, but he doesn't. Abbott to Lockenmeyer to Rhodes, misses it. Nickel with the rebound. As we'll see, the zone is going to cause a little bit of trouble. Anundi catches the ball, takes it back inside. Nice defense by Lockenmeyer. Or was that Taylor?
That was Gabe.
That was Gabe. Anthony to Lockenmeyer. Gabe, that's going to be double dribble, throws the ball out of bounds. As he threw a 20-foot pass from about 12 feet, caught Anthony by surprise, and the ball goes out of bounds. 42-31, a little ragged here to start the third quarter. 6 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third quarter. Tillamook Cheesemakers are still up 11, but they're facing the 2-3 zone, and we'll see what that looks like. Butler to the corner. Nickel to Butler. Butler's going to shoot for 3. Back iron, no good. Landon does a great job blocking out, but unfortunately, Collette doesn't. And it's Clausen with the offensive rebound as Stayton is going to get another shot. It's going to be Nickel again from 3. This is going to be back iron. Landon does a great job of screening out, and so does Gabe. The shot's missed, and it's going to be Anthony.
That is a great block out. The ball actually landed in front of him before he grabbed the rebound.
It's going to be Abbott again for 3, and this time he knocks the 3 down. It's about the 4th time he shot that and made it this time.
The more you take, the more you make.
There we go. The more you take, the more you miss. But that's a different issue. 45-31, Tillamook Cheesemakers up 14. Lob goes into Anundi. Anundi's going to be hacked and fouled as Anthony was not going to give up the third dunk of the night. I'm not so certain you don't, though. Like you got to learn to fight another day, right? You only got 5 of those.
That's right.
And Anthony picked up his second. He's not in foul trouble. No Tillamook Cheesemakers in really serious foul trouble. Anundi shoots the free throw and rattles it down. And that's because Stayton is not a pound the ball.
No,
they're not a driver.
No, we're not. Yeah, They are not driving the ball in. Our guards are never in any situation. So
Anundi makes both free throws. Collette meets a little pressure, handles it to Taylor. Taylor getting some pressure against the 2-3. Lockenmeyer, high post. He has no interest in doing anything other than passing, but he's going to pull. He's going to miss it. Abbott gets the rebound. Abbott 3 dribbles into the middle, kick it out to Landon. Landon for 3, and he takes it down. Gabe didn't want to shoot that basketball, but he was so wide open he had to. Barely hit the rim, bounced off Stayton's hands. Abbott's the one that came up with it. Couple dribbles to draw, kick to Landon. Landon hits the 3, and Tillamook Cheesemakers are looking good as Gabe just totally gets tangled up with Nickel, and Nickel should be frustrated because that was a foul. That was a grapevine that Gabe had. It's going to be Taylor for 3. Back iron, no good. Rebound up. Nickel throws an elbow just to make certain no one's there. And Greg has a little something to say about that because that's a pretty heavy elbow right there. Oh, Anundi is going to get fouled again by Anthony, and now he's got 3. As the ball got entered in from on top, Anthony was in a tight spot. Landon was pinned, or maybe it was Gabe that was pinned. And Anundi is going to go back to the free throw line. So Nickel got tangled up with Gabe. Gabe had his arm wrapped around Nickel's arm, and Nickel tried to drive, and Gabe just went with him.
Yeah,
Nickel missed.
He did the right thing, and he didn't move his arm once he noticed it was tangled, but it's still
a foul.
Yep.
Anundi misses the free throw. Anthony and Landon check out as Rojo and Dorland check in. And Anundi makes the free throw. 48-34. Cheesemakers up 14. 5 minutes left in the third quarter as Collette takes the ball between his legs, a little shake and bake. He's going to step back from the baseline, and he's fouled as coming up and hitting hard was Jared Mitchell.
Yeah, he does a great job. He elevates on those jump shots. That's twice now they've almost undercut him, not on purpose, but just the way the shot is.
Well, he took a pretty hard drive baseline and then pulled up and almost on a step back. And I think that Mitchell was fooled enough that he was coming forward and couldn't control himself. And so Collette's going to get 2 free throws. Makes the first. 49-34. Cheesemakers are up 15. That's got to be just about the biggest lead we've had.
I believe it is.
Somehow Randy has a way of keeping this running total, and he knows what the point differential is, but that's varsity level action.
This is JV crew?
This is JV2 crew right here, man. It's going to be Rash facing the 2-3, goes to the corner. Nice little cross screen by Nickel to Anundi, and Anundi gets a pretty easy 2, 36-50.
Yeah.
14-point lead as Butler threw a nice pass to Anundi, who has just received a cross pick. Collette goes up, he gets stripped, pokes the ball away. It's going to be white ball, I do believe. No call from the official. And Gabe checks back in as Dorland checks out. And again, it is. Stayton had the ball. Ian drove and got stripped on his way up. Couldn't find a handle for it. So it's going to be Butler. We got Nickel at the high post. You're going to throw the lob into Anundi. Anundi gets double covered, and Gabe, hands straight up in the air. They're going to say he got him on the hip, but Anundi puts the bucket in, and Gabe is going to get called for the foul. Anundi's a pretty good ball player. They just throw the ball up and say, go get it, biggin.
Yeah, and if we were to ever try to deflect that pass, we'd be out of position.
Yep, so it was. The official talked to Gabe. It was because you stepped into him with your hips. So that's Gabe's third foul, as both Anthony and Gabe have 3 fouls. Anundi leaves the free throw long. He was backing away, which is just horrible form. You don't want to back away from a free throw. Collette picks the ball up at the 15-foot mark to Abbott with his left hand. Oh, in and out. That ball was down, but it wouldn't do it. Rojo does a great job coming from the backside. Offensive rebound to Warner. Warner's in a little bit of trouble. Back cut Collette. Collette gets the ball in the air. Rims in and out. No good. And Nundy rips down the rebound and hands it off to Rash, who flips the ball to Clausen and resets. It's going to be into Nundy again. And Nundy turns over his right shoulder with his left hand. And they have found a little rhythm, closing the gap to 10, 50-40. As Collette almost travels again. Boy, he's pretty quick. To Abbott. Abbott falls over, just falls down. Ball goes off his knee and goes out of bounds. Playing a little too quick, I would say right now. Too fast.
Yeah. We need to go through our offense.
Yep. And you know where the ball's going. It's going to be going to Anundi. At least it should be, as Landon has a hand on him. They're going to be running a little rub screen for him.
Good job by Rojo in the corner, backside wing. Just
sliding all the way over. Taking that away. Now he's the one pinned by Nickel. Nickel's going to be triple teamed. To Anundi. Anundi leans from 12. Knocks it down as the run, who was 16, is now down to 8. As Tillamook has been outscored by 8 in this run. And Greg is talking to the official that's in his ear about what he sees or what he doesn't see. Lockenmeyer getting some pressure at the top. Hands off to Abbott. Abbott between his legs. Directing traffic. Rojo, left hand, one dribble. Abbott's going to pull again. Back iron, no good. Ball's rebounded by Anundi.
Ball
to Nickel. 3-point line, guarded by Rojo. Rojo's going to be called for the foul as Nickel goes baseline with a strong hand, and Josh just has to beat him there.
He's got to give him some room. I mean, if he can make that 17-foot shot.
Tillamook Cheesemakers call timeout. We're going to take a timeout, too. We'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back, Tillamook Cheesemakers. They're only up 8. Three-pointer would have cut the lead, but misses it. Nickel gets the offensive rebound, step through, missed it, and it's going to be Landon Warner ripping down the rebound. 50-42, 2 minutes left in the quarter. Anthony sees a seam. He takes 3 dribbles in to Landon, to Abbott. Abbott shovel pass to Anthony. Anthony gets the ball in the air, and the foul is called as Anthony's going to get free throws. As I think it was Landon that went baseline, a little shovel pass to Anthony. Anthony goes up, and he's going to get free throws out of this, right? Yep, there he is. As 50-42, Tillamook is up 8, which sounds good, but they were up 16 at about the 5-minute mark, and so in the last 3 minutes, Tillamook has been outscored by 8 points. And Anundi is definitely feeling it at this point, as he has probably got, 10 points in the quarter, which would give him something close to 25 for the game. Checking out is Clausen. Checking in is Daniels. Anthony gets the first free throw to go. Second free throw's up. That's good as well. 52-42, pushing the lead out to 10. And the trap comes. Anthony saves the ball, gets it into Collette. Collette's got the ball, crosses over to his right, bounces off Landon, and it's going to be a white ball. As a little trap surprised Stayton right there coming off the made free throw. As I see Greg wants to make the game a little more helter-skelter and a little less patient and half-court set because he believes that Anundi and Stayton has Tillamook's 2-3 zone figured out right now.
Yep.
Which is probably true. I think you got to just bail out on the backside. And just as I say that, Daniel puts his head down. Picks up 2. 15 points in the quarter for Stayton. As 52-44 leads back down to 8. It has been as high as 16. Oh, gosh, Stayton just took it right away. Rash took it right away. Daniels goes up for 2, and he's going to get the breakaway layup. Gary Daniels, 3 points. That's what those are, right? You don't expect him to score much. Nope. So he plays fullback and middle linebacker would be my guess for the football team. He's built that way. Anthony for 3, short, no good. Gabe goes up, fights for the rebound, and does a really nice job of getting his hands out of the way before he ends up fouling Butler. Anundi is just absolutely anchored to that left block. Going to be Nickel for 3. Oh, boom, there it is.
He's got a pretty shot.
He does. Cheesemakers up 3, 52-49. Remember, the quarter started. Tillamook was up 13, and Tillamook, after a little ragged first minute, stretched it out to 16. It's now down to 3. We're under a minute to go, 52.9 seconds, as Collette's is having to work a little bit, as Rash has him locked up pretty tight. Yep, that's one way to defend it. Abbott pulls for 3. Got that one. Boy, we needed that. We've been sitting on 52 for a long time.
Big shot.
6-point lead, 55-49. 30 seconds left. Daniels puts his head down and goes. He goes with his left hand this time, misses it. Landon gets the rebound to Anthony. Anthony, 25 seconds left, crosses half court, pulls the ball out between his legs. Warner going 4 corners. He wants the last shot.
One shot here.
Yep. Going to be Collette, 16 seconds. He's got time. He's going to get double teamed. He goes left, which is a good move, to Gabe, to Anthony, to Abbott, to Collette. 7 on the clock. 4, 3. Collette's going to pull for 3. Good looking shot, nothing but the bottom of the net. Tillamook Cheesemakers score the last 6 points of the quarter to extend the lead to 9 points. Tillamook Cheesemakers up 58-49. We'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from our sponsors. Tillamook Cheesemakers scored the last 6, and what was that last one?
That was a dirty step back.
That was a dirty step back from Collette. Collette has 21. It was Abbott and Collette that scored back-to-back threes, pushed the lead out to 9, 58-49. Tillamook Cheesemakers are up going into the fourth quarter, and they weathered the run. Stayton put a big run on them there in the third quarter, got it down to 3, and Tillamook dug themselves out with the 3. And Nundi's on the bench, and it's going to be Nickel, Schoenborn, and Jerry Daniel. Jerry goes up. It's going to be missed. Nickel's going to get the tip. Jerry's going to get the tip. Jerry gets the rebound back. He's going to bulldog his way in, and Landon is going to stand his ground. And McDaniels gets the offensive foul and claps right back at Landon. Landon claps his hands in excitement, and Daniels claps it right back at him. As Daniel had a pretty good look, and I think Nickel even had a better look. And then Daniel got the ball back and dropped his shoulder into Landon.
Right call.
Right call. It's Anthony being guarded by Nickel to Abbott. Abbott's got it pulled up his dribble. It's going to be Collette, who has not checked out of the basketball game yet, going up against Rash. It's going to be Daniel that gets his hand on the ball and makes the lay-in. First point, Jerry Daniel on the steal. Athlete.
He is making a presence.
That's how you mark him. Not a post, not a wing. He's an athlete. Anthony tried to make some room against Nickel, but can't. Collette from the corner, rims in and out, no good. Schoenbrunn gets the rebound. This is in the air. We'll see what the call is. Gabe was on the backside. 32, they were going to call it on Schoenbrunn. Boy, that official thought about that. He didn't let anyone know what his call was going to be.
I didn't know where 32 was.
Yeah, well, he's the one that got the rebound, but there was a little bit of contact there. And Tillamook is going to inbound the ball underneath their basket. Up 7, 58-51, 7 minutes left in a very, very engaging fourth quarter. Abbott to Anthony. Anthony's going to pull from 17, lost his leg, and the ball rolls out as he just never quite got his hip squared up. Going to be Rash being guarded by Collette. That's 2-3, so everybody. Nickel, three-point line. He's demonstrated he doesn't mind shooting from there, but throws the ball out of bounds on the skip, and the coach is like, calm down. You're not going to get a 7-point play here. It's okay. A little token full court press by Stayton. Rash covering Collette.
He's done a pretty good job on ES.
Yeah, he has. He has. Anthony's now being dogged by Daniels. Picks the ball up. He's going to pressure, hands the ball off to Gabe. Gabe back cut to Landon. Landon's going to take 3 dribbles, pull up, rim out. Daniels again gets the rebound. As Landon didn't get squared up as he tried to go off the bounce. Schoenbrunn in the post. You don't have to double him, I wouldn't say. You got to take care of the backside rebound, and Anthony does that, tips it to Collette, fighting Daniels.
Yeah.
And was that ball tipped by Stayton? It was, as Collette was looking for Abbott. White got his hand on the basketball, and Anthony did a great job fighting Daniel on the backside for that rebound, and he just tipped the ball out to Collette. One dribble, ball's in the air to Abbott.
Stayton's defense picked it up.
Yeah, they have, and that's Daniel, I think. Anthony's going to lay the ball in. Oh, he's going to take the bump. Oh, he doesn't put it in. As Schoenbrunn came over, Anthony saw it coming, put his left hip out, made some room, and didn't get the field goal to go. 58-51, Tillamook is up 7, 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. As the quarter started, 58-49, and Tillamook has yet to score. Anthony will put a couple free throws in the book right here. Ball's up. Good rotation, front iron and off.
Got his legs.
Yep. +7, Tillamook Cheesemakers have played a heck of a ball game. Underhanded, not underhanded, without all parts. Anthony gets that one over the front iron and down. First points of the fourth quarter. +8. How long is Anundi going to sit on the bench before he checks back in? He'll be in before the 4-minute mark, I would say. Ooh, yeah, boy, I tell you. Abbott had that pass read, but he was just a step slow. In the first quarter, that's his, don't you think?
His, yeah.
Yep. As Anthony did a nice job putting pressure on, Collette had taken the next pass, and it was sort of a lazy pass that Stayton threw, and Abbott thought he had it, but he just couldn't quite react to it fast enough. Extended way out. Stayton starts their offense nearly at half court. To Daniel. Daniel goes to, low and rim check by Schoenbrunn as he tried to lay the ball up and got rim check. Not on a dunk, just got rim check. Landon, free throw line. Shovel pass to Gabe, to Landon, to Anthony, to Gabe. Ball's going to be up. Nope, step through, kicks out to Landon. Landon head fakes, goes around Nickel, pulls the ball up again to Gabe. The ball's just pinned over there on the right-hand side. Finally, Collette. Finally, Collette comes and gets the ball. Dribble down, flips it up off the glass, and down it goes as he takes contact. And that's where he has grown in the last year.
Oh, yeah.
He is so much stronger now than he was a year ago. He can take that contact and still get a high-quality shot up because he has the hip strength to be able to maintain his balance.
Well, and he hangs in the air for so long, he can gather himself, basically.
Tillamook is getting set for their trap, it looks like, off their made free throw. 61-51, Tillamook is up 9, and they're going to be up, 10. It's going to be 12. It's going to be 11. Good Lord. 62-51. 5 minutes left, and Stayton breaks the press without a lot of trouble. And Anundi on the backside, let him go. Just let him go. Just let him go. Lays the ball in.
Yeah, that's what we can't have. Easy points there.
Yep. Well, it was at the 5-minute mark that Anundi checked back in. Abbott's going to pull from the baseline. Boy, he struggled once he got hot, and he missed the 3, but he had a big one right there at the end of the third quarter, didn't he?
Yeah, no backside rebounding, though.
Ball's in the air, and they're going to get Jerry Daniels for the push as he blocks out Anthony, but he blocked him all the way into the pads. 2 hands, one on each side of Anthony's 0 number.
Yeah.
Drives him into the pads underneath the basket, and that's going to put Tillamook at the free throw line.
That's good.
And
good for us.
That is good for us, as the Cheesemakers are a good free throw shooting basketball club. As long as you put the right people on the line, right? but I would take Abbott or Anthony or Collette on the free throw line. 62-53. Tillamook is up 9. A little over 4.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Very entertaining basketball game. 1-and-1 free throws up and down. Boy, that first free throw is a big one in the 1-and-1, isn't it?
That is. That's good. It's been good basketball.
It has been good basketball. And well officiated.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kids get out and play is what they're doing. Anthony's second free throw. It's in as well. 64-53 plus 11. Tillamook Cheesemakers. 4.5 minutes left as Nickel to Daniel. Step through. Left hand layup. It's good.
We got to get out of the press.
Yeah. I think they're looking over the top, and Anundi is so big that he can catch that. Oh, that's pretty easy right there, isn't it? As Jerry Nickel thought that maybe he's going to get a steal, but that's just going to put our best free throw shooter at the line, and that's where Stayton coach has to think about what is his personnel and what's his philosophy right now. And I don't know why you got your power forward out chasing an all-state point guard.
Yep, and I don't know, he doesn't get the ball stolen from him too much either.
No, and not just by it being muscled off it. Oh, he misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Anundi gets the rebound to Butler, to Daniel. Daniel puts his head down and goes, misses it. Anthony tips the ball up, but Anundi gets it to Nichols. Nichols goes through. Oh, it's going to be Gabe, I do believe, or Collette on the backside.
Collette might have got away with a little.
Yep, no, he didn't get away with it. He got it. So that's going to be Colette's first foul.
No.
He's not playing hard enough. 55-64, Tillamook is up 9. They're going to lob the ball into Anundi to Nichols. Nichols to the point guard, Clausen, who sets it. Back to Clausen, into Nichols. Boy, that's deep post. Missed it. Are they going to call offensive interference? Nope. As Anundi tips the ball in on Nichols' miss.
Should have been. Ball was on the rim.
Could have been. I don't know if it should, but it could have been. Going to be 7 points, 57-64. And the Cheesemakers, when you think about the situation they're in with injuries and the size disadvantage, and it's just amazing how well they've played. As Stayton would love to trap Landon Warner in the corner, and they get the trap in the turnover.
1-3-1.
Yep, and with that size, that's pretty good defensive set right there.
Yep.
Anundi to Nichols. Landon tips the ball out of bounds as they try to go high-low yet again. And 64-57, 3.5 minutes left, plus 7.
Might need a timeout here for that 1-3-1.
Yep. And I think the coach is going to take it. We'll take it as well. We'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from our sponsors.
Sophomore, number 3.
Welcome back. Tillamook Cheesemakers up 64-57 over the Stayton Eagles. Nathan Radcliffe and Dan C. home, along with my wingman Tristan, as he's keeping the stats. He says that Collette has 25, 24, and Anundi has 25. 25? 25. So 25-24 between the 6'7" post and the 5'7" point guard. As I've decided that in pick-em basketball, you always pick the point guard first. Like, if you're going to go out there and you're going to pick a kid, I pick Collette first. I don't pick the 6'7" kid, because if you don't have a guard,
you don't got a post.
You don't have a 6'7" kid. And who the X factor has been Daniels.
Yeah.
Jerry Daniels has come in and been a difference maker, as he has aggressively put the ball on the ground and attacked off the bounce.
Rebound. Well.
And so there's a little discussion over at the bench as to what the scorebook versus the scoreboard has, and nothing has changed, at least according to me. 64-57. 3.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Tillamook Cheesemakers are facing Anundi, who gets the ball in, one dribble, reverse spin, shoots from 8 and good. So that's pretty basic, but there isn't much Tillamook can do.
I'm not sure how you guard that.
Yep, I'm not so certain either. 1-3-1 trap, and Tillamook just pulls the ball out. Lockenmeyer at the high post. Free throw, actually, three-point line. It's Collette. Oh, that's a dangerous pass. That was a horrible pass by Collette. As ball's missed, Lockenmeyer pulls down the rebound as Collette threw just a horrible cross-court pass against a 1-3-1.
Yeah, don't want to do that. Touch for the bounce pass.
Yep. And Nichols at the top of the 1-3-1, so you've got 6'7" at the top. And they're not coming hard, but they're coming. Tillamook is playing a little passive, and I understand you want to run some clock, right? I get that. But you're only up 5 right now, 64-59, as the Cheesemakers are skipping the ball to Landon, who again gets it out of the corner. 2.5 minutes left, and I don't know if you can hold the ball for 2.5 minutes against this 1-3-1.
They're getting tired, too. The defense is.
Yep. Oh, see, that's the kind of soft stuff that's just crazy. So it's going to be Collette. Breaks the line down to Lockenmeyer. Lockenmeyer steps through, back out to Collette. To Abbott. He's going to shoot for 3. Front iron, no good, but it's going to be chased down by Collette.
Big rebound.
To Anthony in the baseline all by himself, and he chooses not to shoot the basketball. So now it's a 2 minutes, and there's a foul.
We're shooting.
And Ian's going to be shooting free throws, and this is probably going to be our last 1-and-1. As Tillamook did a nice job, they probably held the ball for 40 seconds against the 1-3-1. And there was a couple difficult times as Abbott has probably shot. You count up how many threes he's shot, Tristan. He's made 3 of them as Collette makes the first one. Remember, he missed the front end of his 1-and-1 on his last time, and he made the front end of the 1-and-1 this time. Going to make the back end as well. So how many threes?
I didn't hear.
15 threes Abbott has got in the air, and he's made 3 of them, right?
I think that's more than I shot in my senior year. in a year.
In a year. He's made 4. All right, I take it back. 4 for 15. A little over 25%. Ball's going to be skipped. Ball's entered into Anundi. Landon does a great job. Landon comes all the way from the backside of the 2-3 to bother that, and then takes the charge going the other way. No whistle. Anundi gets the ball down, and there is no whistle right there. Woo, boy. 61-66. Tillamook Cheesemakers are into control.
Landon took the knee to the stomach there.
1.5 minutes left, and it's going to be Gabe Lockenmeyer shooting free throws. And I don't believe the scoreboard's right. I have them. That one went in. Well, we'll see. Lockenmeyer, left-handed shot, goes up and in as Gabe makes the first. And
score off.
Yeah, there it is. Now it's right. They just didn't get that. They also thought it was an offensive charge. 67-61, minute 33 left in the fourth quarter. Tillamook Cheesemakers are shooting 2 free throws from here on out, as I think that's going to be definitely in the advantage of the Cheesemakers. And Gabe is going to get the second free throw eventually. As
they're really icing them right now.
They had a little trouble there with the book, and they got it right. You can't ice crazy. He just missed it. That's all. 67-61.
Got to be disciplined here.
Cheesemakers are up 6. They're going to have to make free throws. There's no way that 67 is going to win it. Tillamook did a great job stealing that.
Great steal.
Anthony Taylor just stepped in on an angled pass and handles it.
Been running that all night.
Landon to Abbott. Abbott to Collette. Playing keep away. 1-3-1. Anthony steps in and picks up the loose ball. We're at a minute. Tillamook is up 6. 67-61, and Ian just covers up and takes the foul as he understands the game situation, and he wants no one else on the free throw line. He is the leader of the squad, and you love to see it out of your senior point guards.
Right.
As the Cheesemakers, 59.8 seconds left in the fourth quarter, have played a fantastic basketball game.
They have done about as good a job as you could ask on those big guys.
Yep. Ian misses the front of the 2. So 67 is not going to win this ball game. I bet 73 will. 72 will. I think 72 points will be a winning score. Ian makes the free throw, 68. Full timeout. We'll take one as well. We'll be back in 60 seconds after this word from our sponsors. Tillamook Cheesemakers have played a whale of a ball game, 68-61, 59.8 seconds left. Stayton's going to be inbounding the ball, and we'll see if Tillamook has enough gas to get this thing done, because that's going to be what it takes. It's going to take some big rebounds, big free throws, and some gas.
That's right. They got to.
And they're going to pull back into their 2-3 and cheat over to Anundi's side. And they're going to be cross-screening for Anundi. Here he comes. No, it's going to be a lob to Nichols. Oh, you can't grab the rim. Collette gets the basketball down. You cannot grab the rim. Anyway, it doesn't make any difference. Anthony gets the foul, and he'll be going to the free throw line. They ran a lob out of that, and the pass was pretty poor as Nichols was wide open. You know, everybody's eyes, including my own, went to Anundi. I thought for certain he was going to get the basketball, but he was setting the back screen for Nichols. And the ball was short. Nichols went up and grabbed the rim with his right, or at least put his right hand on the rim, and tried to control the basketball and didn't. Anthony makes the free throw, pushes the lead to 70-61. No, 69-61. I take it back. A little quick on the trigger. There's 70. 70-61 plus 9. Tillamook Cheesemakers, I think, probably have put this one to bed, I'm going to say. It's going to take a pretty serious breakdown at this point for the Cheesemakers to lose this. Ball's up. It's in the air. The rebound goes to Anthony. He's going to save the ball all the way in. Step in, Landon. Nope, it's going to be Collette to Landon. Landon's going to get the free throws. Great job right there. Can you just talk about the athleticism that you saw?
Taylor's been there all night. He's done his job of backside help. He's done his job of backside rebounding.
And that time, he had to save the ball, and he saved it across half court.
And great awareness for Ian to not grab the ball but tip it on the other side of half court for his guy to go get it.
And Landon makes the free throw, pushes the lead to 10, 26.3 seconds left. And I think pretty much the fight is gone out of the Stayton Eagles, as I'm shocked. I didn't think there was a chance Tillamook would be able to compete with this short of a rotation against a team of Stayton's caliber. It's Nichols for three, back iron, no good. Daniels gets the rebound, lays it up, no good. Tip out to half court. Save to Clausen. Clausen, three, no good. Rebound is going to be Anundi, and they're going to call Anundi on the foul, I do believe.
Yep.
As 10.4 seconds left, up 11, and Tillamook is going to be shooting free throws.
You know, I think anytime a team, you know, you get two twin towers, you think you're have a pretty good shot every game. But Tillamook did what probably their game plan was.
Mm-hmm. Well, speed kills.
Speed kills.
Speed kills, like just flat out. And that's what teams are going to have to deal with. They're going to look at the roster and go, your biggest kid is 6 foot, and catch us. I triple dog dare you. Now, there's going to be moments where Tillamook is going to have some trouble because they're going to get in foul trouble, right? Just because of the way it goes. Ian Collette checks out for the very first time to a nice round. Bob Lamb gives him a hug, pats him on the back. Gabe Lockenmeyer knocks both free throws down. 74-61. Tillamook Cheesemakers are going to roll here against the Stayton Eagles on a Saturday as Carter Kunert and Charlie Inc. check in. Anthony Taylor and Gabe Lockenmeyer check out.
You got to stay in. Someone's got to stay in.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, I think you're playing, Josh. Yep, there we go.
Guard 25, Josh.
Or try. he has you by 100 pounds, but give it a shot, right? Ball's up. It's in the air. It's off the bottom of the net. going to be too little too late. 74-64 as the Cheesemakers inbound the ball to Josh Rojo, and the game is over. Tillamook Cheesemakers win 74-64 in a fantastic final fourth quarter as the Cheesemakers came out and competed incredibly well against the Stayton Eagles and go to 3-0 in league, and Stayton falls to 0-3. We'll have stats and more after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Stayton High School. Tillamook Cheesemakers end up winning 74-64 over the Stayton Eagles, running their record to 3-0, and Stayton falls to 0-3. And we'll see. Stayton has the opportunity to compare Banks and Tillamook. Banks, I think beat Stayton by, I'll say 18, if I was just going to guess. And I think Tillamook could have done that with Chase. You put Chase and Josh out here, and Ramon, and I think you got a chance at that. Tillamook Cheesemakers got super balanced scoring from a lot of people, led by Ian Klett. He ends up with 27 points for the game. He shot 3 out of 7 from behind the arc, 6 out of 7 inside the arc, and made 7 out of 10 free throws. And so when you're going to get 27 points on 14 shots,
it was a quiet 27.
It was. It was. You know, never once. You probably look at his scoring breakout by quarter, and he probably had 6-7 points a quarter.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't go on any big runs, but he did just enough to be super
none
effective.
Of his shots were forced.
Nope. Landon Warner ends up with 8. And here's a kid, he shoots 2 out of 3 from the three-point line. He made both of his free throws. He ends up with 8 points in the game. And, those are just super awesome bonus points is what they are. Nathan Abbott ends up with 13. He shot 4 out of 14 from behind the arc. You know, and that's not his greatest night of shooting. But, you know, what you like is a kid who is willing to put the ball in the air whenever he needs it. And
he also played well on the other side of the ball.
Absolutely.
Rebounded.
Rojo ends up with 5. Josh has a 3 and a 2. Anthony Taylor has 12. He made 6 out of 7 free throws. You know, and those are the shots that are just huge. He made 4 in a row going down the stretch. And he shot 1 out of 4 from behind the arc, 1 out of 2.
Yeah, and Anthony, I don't think had any turnovers tonight.
No, he just played solid.
He did.
You know, he just absolutely played solid. On the other side, it was Nicolin Anundi. Anundi ends up with 29 points, made his last 2, 4, 6, 8 field goals in a row. And he's a pretty good ball player. I think we can agree with that. Yeah. Nickel ends up with 14 to match half, I guess, of what Anundi can do. We'll finish up the stats and talk about our reaction to the basketball game after this 30-second sponsor from the Les Schwab Tire Center. Welcome back to Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. The Tillamook Cheesemakers end up winning 74-64, withstanding the Twin Tower, very imposing front line of the Stayton Eagles. And Daniels also, you know, I didn't talk about Daniels before he went to break. He ends up with 8 points. I don't know. It looks like only 4 of them are in the fourth quarter, but I bet 6 of them are in the fourth quarter as he played well as well. But Stayton couldn't get any scoring from the guards. Butler had 6, and that was it. You know, Rash didn't score. Well, Rash got a 3. Hendricks didn't score. And Mitchell didn't score. Schoenborn only had 2. as they just couldn't get points from anywhere else. And Tillamook Cheesemakers played defense as well as you can play against a team that is a horrible match, right?
Yeah, and that's a great sign for the Cheesemakers. We preach defense, and to be able to have a performance like this tonight will be a definite confidence booster for them.
Absolutely, and the thing that we haven't seen, and it doesn't exist anymore in high school basketball, is the legitimate back-to-your-back post.
Yep.
The super physical ball player. That doesn't exist. What we're going to see is this kind of stuff. 6'7", 6'8", rangy kids that want to play from the 12-foot mark and want to go high-low, as the Cheesemakers were able to defend the worst possible matchup on the road on a Saturday without two of their starters.
Yeah.
You'll take that all night long as the Tillamook Cheesemakers win 74-64. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this word from the Les Schwab Tire Center. Welcome back to Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. Nathan Radcliffe and Dan Zehome watched a wonderful basketball game tonight. Tillamook Cheesemakers end up winning 74-64. Action continues next week at home on Tuesday as the Newport Cubs are going to come to the Bob Lamb Court on a Tuesday night. Newport Cubs are in the same Oregon West Conference as the Stayton Eagles, as we'll see how another part of their conference looks, and then travel down to Taft to play a 3A team that beat Tillamook last year. Isn't that correct?
That's right.
I know. But it's been a while since Taft has beaten Tillamook. So Tillamook has a little revenge on their mind, at least I hope. We can't overlook the Newport Cubs, and I'm certain they won't, as they have the kids up and ready to play on Tuesday, like any other week, as the Cheesemakers played really well. 74-64 is the final score. This has been Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. This is Nathan Radcliffe and Dan Zehome saying good night and good sports. This has been a KTIL Sports presentation.